Hello everyone. I want to make a video today about coffin texts. Now, before we start, I need to talk about some other stuff before we get to the coffin text so you can understand how this relates to the sign language, because it is exactly the same thing. It's just hieroglyphs. But okay, so let's start with, if anyone knows about this, it's called the Ben stone. So a Ben stone is a stone that's put on top of a pyramid. It caps the pyramid. It's also known as a keystone, or it's been referred to as a cornerstone, the chief cornerstone, or the chief keystone, or the chief capstone. But this Ben stone, it was placed on top of the pyramid, and it's like a small pyramid that guides the direction of the building of the rest of the pyramid. These pyramids were not built by hand, by the way. They were built with the unks, basically. But that's and the unk was produced by the body, by your actual anatomy. You have the capacity to create the unk in yourself. I'm not going to get into that for now, but let's read about the Ben stone. Ben was the mount that arose from the primordial waters new upon the creator deity Atum, settled. Okay. All the creator gods, they are from them. I just want you guys to understand that. But let's read about Atum. I opened it up here. Everything is Atum. Atum means atom. We are made of atoms. They metaphorically and in a very mystical way described what they have done here and how they've pretty much destroyed our DNA. But, okay, so let's look at Atum. Atum, sometimes rendered Atum or Tem, is the primordial god in Egyptian mythology from whom all else arose. He created himself and is the father of Shu and Tefnut, the divine couple who are the ancestors of the other Egyptian deities. Atum is also closely associated with the evening sun. As a primordial god and as the evening sun, Atum has chthonic and underworld connections. Yes, the sun sets. Ra. It sets and it walks on water every time it sets. That's what it does. Just go out and look at the water, sun setting, and that's the sun that everyone's talking about. The Son of God. Yeah, walks on water. Walks on water every day and every night, every morning and every evening. Now let's look at what this association means for Atum. This translates to earth or soil, kathot, or Chthonian, is derived from the ancient Greek word chthon, meaning earth or soil. It translates more directly from, I can't read that, or in, under, or beneath the earth. Okay? This is very important to understand. Okay. Now, it's talking about the underworld. In Greek, kethot is a descriptive word for things relating to the underworld. Yeah. Rituals, cults, all that stuff. Okay. So, if we look at Atum and we look at underworld right here, it'll show you this, duat. So let's look up duat. I know the story. I'm just explaining it to you guys just so you can understand what's going on. Duat is the realm of the dead in Egyptian mythology. And it basically is not hell, but it's what happens in the afterlife. And Osiris is apparently the god who is the lord of the underworld. Okay? So, the geography of the duet is similar in outline to the world the Egyptians knew. There are realistic features like rivers, islands, fields, lakes, mounds, and caverns, but there were also fantastic lakes of fire, walls of iron, and trees of turquoise. In the Book of Two Ways, a coffin text, there is even a map-like image of Duat. Okay. Well, I can tell you right now, in their system, this is where you're located. And this system still exists. This has been going on for a very long time. Yeah, very long time. Egypt is not 5,000 years old. It's over 2,000. It's over 60,000 years old. So, just saying. Coffin texts. Okay, coffin texts are a collection of ancient Egyptian funerary spells written on coffins. Beginning in the first intermediate period, they are partially derived from the earlier pyramid texts reserved for royal use only, but contain substantial new material related to everyday desires, indicating a new target audience of common people. Oh, I wonder what they're talking about here. Wouldn't have to be anything to do with this, would it? Okay. Now, if we start looking at coffin texts, since this is hieroglyphic text, and these guys are writing out spells, hieroglyphs on coffins, what this is doing is it's basically, I'll explain it right now. Here's the context. In contrast to pyramid texts, which focuses on the celestial realm, the coffin texts emphasize the subterranean elements of the afterlife ruled by the deity Osiris in a place called Duet, the underworld. This is the underworld, okay? An Osirian afterlife is offered to anyone, and the deceased is even referred to as the Osiris name. This subterranean realm is described as being filled with threatening beings, traps, and snares with which the deceased must contend. The spells in the coffin allow the deceased to protect themselves against these dangers and dying a second death. Okay? I'll break this down for you. It's really simple. You're dead in this system. As I explained in all the other videos, I suggest you watch them. In the hieroglyphic text, you cannot read it. You have no consciousness. You fall into the duet, the underworld. Now, you have privileges that are involved with these hieroglyphic texts and in this civil Roman system, this Vatican-based system, corporate system. And it is, in fact, ancient Egyptian. They all come from the same place. But these privileges will protect you against dying a second death. But the thing is, see, you already died the second death because, once you die, they write out your name like this. And by the way, skull and bones, okay? Just look at Hitler's hats, the SS hats, and you'll see the same thing. These are pirates. It means you're dead. Now, if we look at a name, A. Ruth. Well, you're not protected against anything in your second death. They've completely stolen it from you, all the way. Completely. They've closed the account that you had before. Okay? They've usurped the money. So you have your creditor and you have your debtor account. Right? You live here your entire life with your hieroglyphic text, name, in the coffin. And then when you die in the afterlife, in duet, you remain dead. Okay? And this account, since no one took the money, they keep it. Okay, so it doesn't protect you against anything. That's why it was originated for the common people, because you guys are apparently to them commoners. They've completely tricked you into going into the system. Okay. The reason all of this has been done is because we live in a very split reality field right now. There are two different spirals functioning on this level of existence and all throughout this matrix system. The Fibonacci spiral is an artificial spiral. It functions on a different mathematical code. Whereas in the crystal spiral, that has very specific mechanics based on this. I drew these out for everyone to understand better how these mechanics work. The crystal spiral is based on these mechanics. Now, this is what we are all in. This is how we function. I suggest everyone go and look up Ashayana Dean, Melchizedek Cloister Emerald Order. Pretty well explained. All the details are in there. But the two manifestation templates that have happened here, everything is basically a duplicate. You have a shadow self in their system. You have a shadow self in terms of this reality as well. That's your legal fiction name. But it's energetically connected to you. All of this is all for energy harvesting. The second you associate yourself with anything that is not truly you, they can use it to feed off your energy. Now, this is a very deep topic and hard to get into. Maybe I don't know if I should get into it, but I'll try to explain it as quickly as possible. Okay, so everything is made out of 3 units of consciousness. Manu, Mane, and Ire. This is matter, antimatter, and antimatter, or complete consciousness, the one with no name. I don't want to call it God source, but the creators, the pure cognition, the purest consciousness, the fullness and emptiness. Okay? Now, these 3 units of consciousness, they basically flash on and off from existence. And what they create is an antimatter field and a matter field. These flashing of these 3 units create what's called scalar wave grids, which are these, and they are standing wave grids. They basically function like this. You have grids that are points of light, and they interconnect. They flash on and off. Now, the spirals that have happened here, the manifestation template of this thing, it spirals it flashes in a sequential form, and these are called flashline sequences. But if the flashline sequences are incorrectly coded, and this has happened with what's known as Yod-He-Vav-He, it's recoded the actual spirals, and they're basically sucking energy off this original construct. What happens is you get distortions in your consciousness field, and there are duplicates of the consciousness. The DNA that manifests, that transcribes the first consciousness coming from source, and from your first points of creation, you have what's called huva bodies. It gets distorted, and this creates duplicates. You can create a duplicate. So that's what's been going on. But let me get back to this. So the scalar wave grids, they don't move. They stand in one place, and they flash on and off. They're flashing lights. They crystallize into crystals, and these form dimensional bands, which are vibrating, oscillating pulses of light, electromagnetic light, that create dimensional bands, higher dimensional bands. We live in a 15-dimensional matrix. I'm going to go down really quickly. and show you. This is what a 15-dimensional matrix looks like. We're down here in dimensions 1, 2, and 3. You have dimensions 4, 5, and 6. This is where your soul is located. Dimensions 7, 8, 9, over soul. Dimensions 10, 11, 12, this is your Christos consciousness. Budeg as well. Christos. Maharata. This is Maharhuva bodies are located here. And this is your Rishik consciousness. Each one of these three-dimensional fields of consciousness, these are light fields up here, are parts of your consciousness are contained here. Your soul level is here, and which is it's called your Betsa-Huva body. Your first level of consciousness down here is your Nada-Huva body. Nada-Huva body. Beta-Huva body, soul level. Alpha-Huva body, oversoul. Mahara-Huva body. And Raja-Huva body. We have a potential to integrate these levels over here. These are from 9, dimension 9 down, are Antakarana currents. Your Kundalini currents are located here. But where the problem is coming from is right here. I'm going to scroll down and just explain this stuff. The problem that we're having is coming from right here. Dimension 11.5, which is where this artificial cube is located that they're using. It recodes all of the code and it creates duplicates. That's why they duplicate everything. That is why they are duplicating the legal system, and they're duplicating source, and they're making themselves look like God source. It's a very long story, and it requires at least 5 hours of explaining just the bare bone basics of what is going on here. But that's where the problem is coming from. Okay. So, in each one of these dimensional bands, what this is, what you're looking at here, this is a Cathara grid. I'm sorry I didn't explain, but this is a Cathara grid. Cathara grids are energetic centers. You have them on your body, and they connect to the universal level, to the galactic, then the universal level, and then the universal level connects to the other parallels, the antimatter and the light matter, and the sound fields. So you have sound field, light field, and antimatter field. So this would be antimatter, light fields, sound fields. And you have these in your anatomy as well, your body anatomy. And this is how it forms. We live in this. This is a cubo-octahedron. This is what we are inside of. This is the form. It's also known as a vector equilibrium, although their functioning of it, the way they described it, is not correct. It has a very specific way of functioning. It's formed like this. You have a sphere, you split it into 8 parts. The 8 parts create what's called a triveca. And this hexagon shape rotates 4 times, 90 degrees, to create the cubo-octahedron. Right there. And that is your consciousness basically forming this. Now, I'm not going to continue with this specific topic because I'll maybe make videos about it later, because this can go on forever and it is very complicated to explain all this. The 666 is this form, and it is being used in 2 directions. They're spinning all of the primal life currents backwards, basically. That's what's going on. But yeah, that's the reason why they've created all these coffin texts and all these duplicates of you. You have energetic duplicates as well. This is not just a paper thing or a legal presumption problem. This is a lot deeper and a lot more complicated than most people understand. But there are consciousnesses here that have come to try to help as much as possible, because there is still hope to keep living light on this planet and not let this completely go overboard. Although the system is unfortunately falling, there is still time to get out of it and to go into the higher God worlds, the Eka Veka God worlds, We have around 900 Earth years left before that happens, before it closes. At, where did it go? Right here. To go through here. So, on the universal level, we're here. On the galactic level, we're here. This is where Earth is found. And yeah. Okay, I'm gonna end it at that, because maybe I went a little off topic, a little too far off topic. Okay,